If you want to actually do magic that impresses people, is hard-hitting, leaves a lasting impression on them, you can't just do a single trick. You need a few tricks that you can do confidently in a row that you know will get great reactions. Well, I have put in the time, I have put in the work, and I am giving you the exact 3 tricks I would do to people for years as my just complete set. So you're getting basically a magic act for free here on YouTube. Learn these tricks in this order and do them to people in this order, and you'll have a perfect rounded out set of card magic. If you're an active subscriber, you've probably seen these pop up in a couple other compilations. I'm just trying to package these tricks in different ways for people to find them and hopefully get use out of them. But I encourage you to still take a look at how they're packaged in this video to see the progression. We have a quick opener, we kind of have a more mentalism style effect, and then we have a big kicker at the end with the Biddle Trick. The Biddle Trick was my closer for a long time. Let's get started. I hope you enjoy the magic.
Here's where it gets important. Look, you can see the card? Here's what we do. Put your other hand on top like a sandwich, like that. And watch, remember this card as well. 10 of hearts, watch a 10, ready? This one's good. If you just rub it, see it changes. There's the 8. Look in your hand, look in your hand. Turn it over, open it up.
Open sesame!
This is the classic 2-card transpo. I think it's a trick every magician should learn, and it gets amazing reactions. This should be your opener or a part of your opener at least some point in your life. You need to try it out and see the reactions that it gets. I love this trick so much, and it is considered kind of a foundational staple among magicians. So I'm going to teach it to you straight. I'm also going to give you some of my thoughts, and I hope you will go out and use this to fool your friends. People really enjoy this one, so let's get into it. The classic 2-card transpo uses one simple secret: a duplicate. Just one duplicate of one of your cards. Some magic companies these days are producing cards with a duplicate already loaded into the deck for you. Illusionist, they make the cohort deck and they load a duplicate Queen of Spades. So you don't even have to get a second deck for some of these decks that magic companies produce. I believe Daniel Madison has done that from time to time as well, to my memory. But you can also get a bulk of bicycle rider decks for pretty cheap on Amazon. So if you get a brick, which is 12 decks, or just a few decks, you can use another deck of cards to provide yourself some duplicates as you perform magic. So you can just walk around with your deck of cards prepared in this way with the 2 queens loaded on top. And there's other ways to get into this from other tricks, but just for today's purposes, let's just go ahead and assume we also have another card prepared in between them. So if you just want to straight up perform this trick from the start, you're going to have duplicate queen, a whatever card, and the other queen loaded on top. From here, it's very simple. You do a double turnover, a double lift to reveal or show the Ace of Spades. So this is 2 cards, but you're pretending this is the top card. To learn the double lift, check it out on the channel. You're gonna turn that card back over and you're gonna place that card in the spectator's hands. This is what's great about this trick, is it gets them involved. They're holding something in their hand, right? And psychologically, to make them not look at it, but also to increase the effectiveness of the illusion. It's kind of a playful challenge. Encourage them to make it so that you can't affect that card or do something sneaky with it, right? So that's a way for you to get them to, you can instruct them to place their other hand on top, right? And if they've placed their other hand on top, they're less likely to try to look at it. So as you get more confident, you might just have them hold it. If you're able to influence your audience and you're noticing that people will listen to you, this also depends on the audience member. If they're more compliant and you feel like they're not going to be rude and look at the card, right? If you kind of know that about the person and you're vibing that, you can be a little bolder and just place it in their hand. But if you want a surefire, especially to build confidence, I would encourage you to tell them to put their other hand on top, right? So they've put their other hand on top. They're holding the queen now. This is what's great about this trick, is it uses a simple usage of the 1 ahead principle. So we're 1 ahead now. The reveal is ready. That's being 1 ahead. Awesome stuff. So that queen is in their hand. Now all you have to do is another double turnover to show the queen, because they think this is the ace. You're going to turn that over, and then the rest is just acting. So you can get rid of the deck for a moment. You can place it down, whatever. I would encourage you to just focus on these two cards here, right? This isolates the image in their mind. You just have these two cards, and really play this up. Wave it under their hands, or snap, or even like graze the top of their hand with the card. Don't be weird, but whatever feels right. Make the moment magic. Really focus on and isolate this moment, and then reveal that you have their card now. And then you can encourage them to reveal and turn over their card. So that's the simple, classic 2-card transpo. Do not underestimate this. Just the simple switching of the 2 cards is huge. But of course, you do have the duplicate here. So if you want to get rid of this, you have a huge window of opportunity to do so that the whole deck and everything else is examinable afterward. To get rid of the duplicate queen, I'm going to rewind us to the moment that, okay, so we've shown the queen. You can forget about this for a moment, or just be holding it at your side. Depends on if you have a table or not. But you're focused here. You do the reveal. You're not getting rid of it yet. You get rid of it the moment you tell them to turn over the card. The moment they are turning the card over, you can slide this over a little bit as you go to your back pocket, and you just shove it down your back pocket. Get rid of that card. I've even done the front pocket. Some people love top palming cards and being sneaky guys, but truly, I don't palm. I don't do anything fancy. I slide the card over and I shove it in my back pocket, and then I come back right as they are focused. All eyes are on the queen turning over. That's the reveal moment. You have them do the reveal moment, so you encourage them, go ahead and look at what's underneath or what the card is, and they're going to turn it over. And as they're turning it over, you're back here pocketing the card. It's just a simple principle in Magic that you're using those windows where you know the attention will be there to make your move. Another great thing is that while the duplicate card can't be signed by the spectator, this card can. The true single card that swaps can be signed, and that will increase the effectiveness of the illusion. So you have the ace, you can have it signed with a Sharpie, then you're placing the queen in their hand, you show the other queen, and then you move forward with the illusion as I showed. If you're enjoying this video, subscribe to the channel to become a part of the Hobbyist Magic Club. And if you want to dive even deeper, consider joining my free Patreon membership or picking up some merch from the store. This trick will convince people that you can predict the future, or that just crazy coincidences happen around you. And the crazy thing is, it is completely self-working. Let's get into it.
Open sesame!
The audience shuffles the deck, and you take out 2 random cards for them to use, and you gather 2 friends to have these 2 cards. So maybe one person's over here, one person's over here, and the first person is going to deal down cards until they're content. And once they're done, they just place that card face up in the deck where they finished, and the rest of the deck goes on top. And then without overlapping that card, the other audience member themselves does this as well. And when they're content stopping, they're just going to throw their card in as well. And despite the fact that they shuffled the deck and then they dealt the cards themselves, this crazy coincidence happens. Or maybe it's magic. When you have the audience members shuffle the deck, you're going to take 2 cards out. So let's do this fresh to show you. The 5 of spades ended up on bottom in this situation, and the 7 of clubs ended up on top. So as I briefly go through the deck, I want to make this as quick as possible, but don't freak out. You're going to get the pairs to those cards. So it was the 7 of spades, and the 5 of clubs is the other one. So what we're doing here is you're just taking a quick peek of the top and bottom card as you take the deck back to find these cards. And all you're saying is, I'm just going to grab a couple random cards, but you're actually looking for the pairs of these 2 cards that they just happen to shuffle into those positions. Another way you can do this is with special cards like face cards. So you can load 2 queens and then retrieve 2 queens. That's the way I used to do it, but that takes a little more time. So this feels a little more off the cuff and random of like, let's just throw some random cards out here. Make it casual. The trick hasn't started yet, right? That's kind of the idea. And then you can do this with 2 separate people, or you can just do it with 1 person. It doesn't super matter. But if you have 2 audience members, you can almost play off the fact of like they're doing this with each other, or they're trying to like sync up mentally, which is kind of fun. But regardless, you hand the deck to 1 audience member, and you actually want to hand it to the person who has their card on the bottom. And they're going to start dealing cards, and you just instruct them to stop when they feel like it. So they'll stop, and then instruct them to place the card face up in the deck. When they place these cards down, that's going to load this card there. So you can kind of see where we're headed with this. And then as long as they don't deal past this face-up card already, the other audience member, you can instruct them to do the same. So just tell them to stop whenever they feel like. They place the card face up, and you're explaining like this is to mark it for later, and then that gets loaded there. So this is completely self-working as long as you prepare the deck to be in the state it needs to be, and you instruct your audience members well while also staying casual. It's a fine line. We have to walk in a lot of magic. So you want to make sure they follow the instructions right so the illusion happens, but you don't want to be weird. So just make sure you guide them through that. Then you're going to spread the deck. The first time I saw this trick taught was, I think, by a Tony Chang on a live stream, and he did a kind of different version of it. But regardless, you're going to take the card above each of these cards, and you can then reveal that they match. The important thing about this trick is presentation, and that goes for any self-working trick. There's almost inverse proportions here of like the easier a trick is or the more self-working it is, the even more valuable that dressing it up with presentation is going to be, right? So one thing to help might be having 2 participants and playing off of them. That can be a very fun interaction as well, but also recapping and emphasizing. So emphasizing the fact before you do the final reveal, emphasize like, hey, you guys shuffled the deck, you held the deck, and you did the dealing. I didn't influence you to make the decisions you made, right? Kind of emphasizing those things will really help in making this just seem absolutely impossible. You want to increase the drama of this. What you can actually do is take a smaller packet of cards, rip them in half, and then do the trick the same way, but now you're dealing with finding the other half of a given card. So you're going to load up the force cards in the exact same way. You can perform it in the exact same way, but it's a little more dramatic, like you're finding the other half of the card. People also won't be as used to seeing a torn in half deck of cards, and so there's a little bit of novelty and intrigue there. First time I saw that was from Brian Brushwood's long-going Scam School, Scam Nation, kind of that brand. They had a YouTube tutorial where they talked about that version of the presentation, which I really liked. And so if we take that a step further, and I'm not sure if they mentioned this on their video, but if you wanted to completely take this outside the realm of cards, you could actually get like photos, like old photographs of like, maybe it's like portraits of people, or you can make it like old black and white photos. And so now you're completely outside the realm of cards, but you can still have people mix them, and then you find the halves that you need to force, you take those out, you go through it the same way, but now it's not even like a card trick anymore. It's people finding the other half to these photographs. So I was kind of ideating around that, and I was going to use it for like a Halloween show a year or 2 ago. I didn't get around to doing that, but I think that's a really cool potential for a way to present this trick. And then I also need to shout out Dan and Dave, because they recently taught it on their YouTube channel, and that's where I saw the version where you just casually take 2 random cards, and I was like, oh, why haven't I been doing it that way? I've been trying to get like special face cards, but you can just do it this way instead. This trick, despite being one of the first tricks I ever learned, has for many years been the closer to my card routines, and you're about to learn it right now.
Open sesame!
For this trick, I'm actually going to try to read your mind through the screen. So first, make sure you memorize this selection. Could truly be any selection, and you could truly be here yourself. You could even shuffle the deck yourself. And what I'm going to try to do now is read your mind. So What I want you to first do is locate your card. Look closely at the screen and try to find your card amongst the cards. Okay, I'm just gonna hold my hand over each side of the deck. So first, just think in your mind, is your card here, yes or no? Okay, I'm gonna get a feel for that. Now this side, is your card on this side, yes or no? Okay, I'm gonna make a call here. I'm gonna eliminate this side's worth of cards. So I hope I'm on the right track here. There's some cards left here for me to eliminate. So let me just make a judgment call here and get a few cards out. Okay, let's see what we got. Now when I go through these cards, again, same thing applies. I want you to just think in your mind, yes or no, this is my card. And I'm gonna try to read you. Okay, 3 of spades. Could it be the 3 of spades? 3 of spades, yes or no? Okay, king of diamonds. Is it the king of diamonds, yes or no? Could be, okay. 5 of clubs. Is it the 5 of clubs? Guess we'll find out. 6 of clubs, yes or no? Okay. And the 10 of diamonds. Is it the 10 of diamonds? Okay, I think I'm picking up on something, but I need to be sure. I need to know for sure if it's the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth card. So on the count of 3, I want you to actually mentally picture yourself sending me the card, okay? And if you were in person, you could hold these cards yourself, but I want you to just do it mentally from where you're sitting right now. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, send the card. Okay, I think something happened, but I'm still not sure. I still don't know what it is. But something feels different. Actually, let's see. We had 5 cards. What do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. Do you see your card here anymore? It's gone? This is what I think happened. I think you sent it, but you didn't just mentally send it. I think you physically, magically sent it back into the deck. This is the Biddle Trick, a classic of magic. A lot of magic companies and folks like myself will teach it for free on their platforms. But anyway, how you do this trick, there's a few sleight of hand moves involved, but you're gonna have a card selected. Now, you can have a card freely selected, and what you would do in that situation is, let's say they chose this card, you would want to control it to the bottom. So I teach multiple card controls on this channel. Just be sure to check them out in our playlists, but you need to control it to the bottom somehow, right? And by controlling it to the bottom, that allows you to peek the card. So in peeking the card, you can just pretend to maybe square up the deck and take a look at it, or you can dribble the cards. As long as they don't see that their card has been controlled to the bottom, there's many ways to peek. So again, you just control the card to the bottom in your favorite method. And I like the method of maybe you dribble the cards and you square them up and you peek the bottom card. Then make sure you shuffle it back in the middle, and then you can give it away to them to shuffle and you can move forward with the trick. Version number 2 of how to do that is you can just go ahead and force the card. Then you don't even have to peek it. Regardless, the idea is that you're not going to actually have a card controlled for the next part of the trick. You're going to have a card peeked or pre-known. So whatever your way of getting into that situation is what you need to do in order to move forward with the trick. We'll get a fresh selection one last time. Let's say they've chosen the Ace of Hearts and you've either forced or peeked the Ace of Hearts. Then you can have them shuffle to their heart's content because you already know the card. So they'll shuffle, and then you're gonna dive into the presentation of body language or reading their mind. It's all about you guessing the card, right? And that is motivation for getting half of the deck discarded and put aside. So once you find where the Ace of Hearts is in this situation, so the Ace of Hearts is here near the lower part of the deck. So you can say, is your card more over here and you're watching them? Or is it more over here and you're watching them? And of course you make sure they can see it themselves. And then as if you're just kind of going off a hunch, you're gonna just eliminate the half that the card is not in. From there, you're continuing on the I'm trying to read you vibe. And when you see their card, you're gonna want to up jog a card a few cards before it. Then you go to their card and up jog it second. You want it to be the second card you up jog. Grab another, grab another, grab another. I'm just trying to do one card every few cards, and I try to throw a pretty good balance of colors there. So you get those cards out, and you're going to turn this part of the deck over so that you can hold them on top of the deck. And this is one of the secret moves that gets ready for the next part. You're going to deal this off, and again, it's as if you're trying to read them. Then you're going to deal off what you know is their selection, and you're going to keep a pinky break under it. Here's the secret move. As you go over to deal the next one off, you're going to load this onto the bottom of this packet. So you take the 2 of clubs, you grip the ace of hearts, you load the 2 of clubs down, you deal the 2 of clubs down, and you're already done with this part. You've loaded the ace of hearts face up here. So you want to be careful. It can be easy to flash, so just make sure you've loaded it flush, and you also don't want to flash too much of this here. So all together now, one more time, you've taken the ace of hearts off, you come over, you load it underneath and grip, and you're going to deal the 2 of clubs in a way where they don't see the 6 of spades underneath. So now in their mind you have 3 cards, but you actually have 2, and you've loaded that other one there right under their noses. Haha. And then you can continue with your acting. And it's important to not just rush through the next parts. It's like, oh, I've done the work, I'm good now, I'm just going to move forward. No, they don't know where you're going with it, so you need to present it straight. Each card could be their card in the presentation. So you're moving through each of them. And then when you're done, you're going to place this to the side on top of the rest of the cards, which loads the ace of hearts face up in the middle of the deck for later. So this is casual. You're not treating it like it's anything special, because these are the cards you've eliminated, right? So you don't want to accidentally flash still, but to the presentation, you need to make this casual. It's like, all right, get rid of those, whatever. And this is the focus. So you're going to go over here, and before you do the reveal that the card has vanished, you want to do one more casual convincer. Again, you're not making a big deal out of it in terms of how you treat it, but it bakes in psychologically that this is 5 cards, right? And when that's really important for the vanish. So you're going to do an Elmsley count. Now here's how I do it. This is the way I've been doing it for years from my youth. I think everybody has kind of their own different versions of what makes them comfortable. But the way I do it is in my subordinate hand in our dealer's grip, I'm going to peel back this way toward my thumb. So usually you would deal cards like this, right? But I'm going to peel it this way so that I can transfer to my dominant hand, and I'm going to start holding the cards at the bottom corner like this. And that's going to assist in the false count. And that's what an Elmsley count is. It's a false count. So I peel back, I take these cards and I deal, and I say 1. It's very similar to the illusion earlier. What we're creating the illusion of is that we're dealing off 5 cards into our hand. But what we do is we cycle through one of them one extra time. So I peel back, I go 1, and then instead of just dealing another card, I actually load this card as I go to deal the other card. So I load it, I take another card, and I say 2. Okay? So again, this is meant to replicate the illusion of it being just like 1, 2. That's what they think they're seeing. But you're going 1, loaded on bottom, 2, this is still just 1 card because you got rid of that one. So once you do that, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when done in motion, casually, smoothly, not too quickly, you'll get that knack for it. It really looks like you just dealt out 5 cards. So again, at speed, you're saying, gosh, I'm trying to figure out if it's the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th card. How cool is that? You want them to actually try to mentally transmit the identity of their card to you. So that presentation sets it up to be about sending. So that will transition us for the surprise of this whole time you've been trying to guess the card, you're about to have the card appear in the deck. So by saying, I want you to send me the card. In your mind, send me the name of the card. Okay, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, send it. So you're saying those words of sending, and that way when you're kind of acting confused, like, I'm still not sure, actually look inside. You then have them deal out the cards. Well, what you can actually do is you can have them count it first. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You get that hit that it's one card less. Then you can have them turn over and see their card's not there. And so that will thematically tie to, oh, I think you sent it, but I think you literally sent it into here, and you can reveal it there. Conversely, you can spread the deck face up so that you have a face down reveal, which kind of prolongs the final reveal moment even longer. The important things to remember are that you need to identify the identity of the card, present this as though you're trying to guess the card, eliminate the half that the card is not in, remove some cards, making their card the second card. You're gonna do that load onto the bottom of the packet. Make sure you're casual here where you're placing this down, but that you also don't flash. And then you're doing that false count into your subordinate hand. And take your time with this. You can even explain that it takes a minute, but that it's going to be worth it in the end. I heard a magician talk about that of, if you have a little more mechanics and processing, you want this to be fun, entertaining, and that tension to be right and for it to not be boring. So you can even give the disclaimer at the beginning, like, hey, this takes some time. You can explain, I'm going to be trying to figure out your card. It'll take me a second, but I promise it'll be worth it in the end. Something like that. I believe I first learned this from Illusionist, and then I also learned a version from Theory 11, as they had a free tutorial for it. And I kind of presented it one way for a long time, and I was sort of dipping into the presentation you see now, but what fully moved me into this idea of like a mentalism trick turned magic trick is Alex Pandrea. And so full shout outs to him. He understands, I think, psychology and theory really well. And so I'm not sure if he came up with that presentation, but I very much affirm the value of it, which is that by pretending this is a I'm gonna guess your card trick, you really surprise them when it's a transported card trick. Does that make sense? So this whole time, the explanation is, I'm gonna try to guess your card, I'm gonna read your body language maybe, I'm gonna read your mind. You're doing it in the, this is a, I'm guessing the card trick, and that allows the rug pull, the surprise of the transporting card to be even stronger. So shout out to Alex Pandrea. And so I definitely encourage, please, when I mention people, check them out. I want to share the love and the magic, and that's why I mentioned them. Let me know what you thought about putting those together in a routine. Now, I will say some notes on this. Anytime you have kind of 3 tricks planned out, you might have to cut it short. And so that's why I like the order of these, is that that opener is quick. And if they want to see more after that, you can spend a little bit more time with this impossible coincidence of the Gemini twins, right? And then you can really bring it home with the magical effect of the Biddle Trick, but also this is customizable. So if you notice that they're a little interested, but maybe you want to go ahead and move through to the Biddle Trick, you can cut out the Gemini twins, right? So you never know when you're gonna have to stop, but I like these 3 as just surefire tricks. Another reason is they're so easy. You do have sleight of hand in the Biddle Trick and in the 2-card transposition, but it's pretty simple beginner moves that once you put some practice into it, you can really get a lot of mileage out of. But let me know, what do you think? Do you think you would construct this differently? What are your favorite tricks to kind of keep in a 3-trick set or act for your usage? Let me know in the comments below, but until next time, keep enjoying your magic, stay a hobbyist at heart, and I'll see you guys in the next video.